What's up, coaches? Welcome back to Coach Johnson's YouTube channel, where we talk about the power raid, the air raid, anything in general when it comes to the coaching realm. And so today, kind of talking about the coaching realm and also being a head coach or offensive coordinator. I think you're going to really enjoy this video. Today, what I'm doing is, and I have made this video before, but now I'm going to talk about how you can streamline and be super productive and super organized for your install. Whether you're one of the few states that allows the spring install and spring ball, or if you're a coach that cannot go until the summer, or like I've had when I was up in Wisconsin, you only get limited contact days and you don't get to start until August 1. This is for you. So going to show you how you can streamline what you do on offense to then make it for spring ball, make it for summer, make it for your season install and your schedule, and all the different documents that I use to make sure that every little detail is explained, organized, and it's good to go for your coaches, and sharing it for them so everybody can see it. It helps you save time, so you don't have to have all the meetings where you take up your time like what we just did on this past Thursday, and you have your coaches meeting and you do all that time at the beginning of whatever spring, summer, the season, and then there doesn't have to be any explanation because they have all the documents shared with them and all that. So this is just one way to be streamlined, super organized, so that your install can go as as air free as possible. So here we are on starting off with what your offensive menu is. So I've branched off with an air raid, power raid type guy I mix between 3 and 4 day installs. And then the other way that I'm a little bit hybrid and a little bit different is, so in North Carolina, you get 8 to 10 spring ball days. Well, this year we are doing a spring ball game, a spring scrimmage, inter scrimmage, and it falls on our 9th day. And with the way that our rules in our county is, we got this tomorrow and then going into the next 2 weeks. But instead of doing a spring scrimmage on a Friday before Memorial Day, we moved up to Thursday. And then that Friday we'll have just whoever is in town, we'll have kind of a walkthrough review of everything that we did. But anyway, so I believe in the rule of 3 and 4. I saw a lot more productivity when I started really falling in love with a system and figuring out that the rule of 3 or 4 and keeping it simple really does help. So if you look at this sheet, you'll see that we have our run game, our quick game, our drop back, our screens, and our RPOs, and all that is in a menu. And you can break it down into families. Everybody has different names, buckets, all that stuff. And so to start that streamline process is most anybody, when you're going in spring or the summer, you're going either 5 or 4 days. Well, I decided I like the rule of 4. And what we are doing, because we have that spring ball game and then possibly just kind of a review session, we decided, what is our big run game concepts? And for us, honestly, I've fallen even more in love with kind of the rule of 3. And then, there's a hybrid family that won't be as much of a major. So if you break it down into it, your day 1 bread and butter run game should be on Monday. Your bread and butter quick game should be there on Monday. Your drop back there. So that your Monday is your main anything. So for example here is if it was inside zone, and say that yours is smash, and then your drop back is curl flat, and then your screen, you're going to go with just your now screen, and your RPO would be just a bubble. So if that's your main bread and butter, that should be Monday. That should be your day 1. So now here's the best part. So then when you go over to our spring install, your Monday, for us, how we would do it is it would be day 1 and 2, because you see 3, 4 would be our Tuesday, day 5 and 6 would be our Wednesday, day 7 and 8 would be our Thursday. So now you just come over here and now you're just doing your copy and paste. And so then boom, and now that's already filled out. And then you go into your quick game and now you just fill it out. All right, so then you do that all the way through. All right, so then like Tuesday, let's just say that you're an outside zone, and then you're a slant flat team, and your drop back, just say that it's 4 verts, and then your screen, you're gonna go now with a bubble screen, and then your RPO would be speed out. All right, just something like that, where let's just say that it's slants. All right, so then once again, just trying to explain how to do that is then you go into your copy of your spring, and then that would be outside zone would be there, and then so on and so on. So now when you have that, you're able to copy and paste, and you go all the way through your offensive menu, and then this is where as coaches you can then do your formation. So like one of the things that I like to do is whatever your two by two, your main 2 by 2, your main 3 by 1, and then you're either 11 or 12 personnel with a sniffer or wing. How do you want to do that? And I would say that you would do that, and then depending on what you have to get into, say that then you want to go and try to get into a little bit of your empty stuff. Well, then day 2, you can introduce your empty, and now you have your personnel. And then maybe later into it, if you want, you spend a couple of days halfway through and you would do your unbalanced set. So now you have how to get to empty, how to get to unbalanced, and then you have your main 2 by 2, 3 by 1, because then that should take care of all of your goals when it comes to your passing game. And then you can do whatever your motions. So you can have, your fast motion, your short motion, your fake jet, all those. So now all of a sudden, now your entire spring install is figured out because of, doing those days. And now you could just go into your summer schedule, and maybe all of a sudden, you decide, hey, we only have really 3 days. Well, now let's just go through and, so Monday is going to stay your Monday, Tuesday's going to stay your Monday, Wednesday's going to stay there. And now for your Thursday, it could be a review, or, you hit back and say that your inside zone is just so much better than everything else. Now all of a sudden you cut it down and you're just going inside zone. And then now let's say you still have a good 4 quick game, and now you can still do your 4 quick game. And so say that you're still there, but you want to really focus on your inside zone. And the reason for that is maybe your RPOs. Maybe you really realize that, stick was a good RPO for you off of inside zone. And then another one was possibly, your glance. All right. So then with that inside zone is maybe then on Tuesday, your Monday, you're just staying in your like 10 personnel, and it's inside zone read. And then Wednesday obviously would then go to outside zone. Then whatever Thursday, maybe you're doing with your inside zone, you're doing your ISO and your split stuff. So now that's how you master into that. Well, then you go into your season schedule, and we all know you go down to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then Thursday is usually walkthrough. So now it's your inside zone family all together, your outside zone family, and then let's just say that to get your gap scheme, you do your GT. Well, then you have to get into your quick game, and that's where now you filter it all the way through, okay? What was our best stuff? Well, if you're a team with kind of smash is your number 1, you can say smash and snag would be a good way to mix it up. All right, and then we'll go smash and stick. And then you can go with your slant, flat, and your snag family. And then there you are with your, and then on Wednesday, you can just review all that again. All right, and then same with your drop back. So say that 4 verts ended up being your best, then curl, flat, and then your flood variation. So it explains that. Then whatever your screens were, and then your RPO, and now you're getting it down to 3 times. And like I said, I'm typing it all out, but you could easily have just copy and pasted all this, and now your schedule is all the way through. So now you have your spring, your summer, into your season. Now you get into your practice schedule, and then you know what you're going to have. So here for like us, this is what our schedule is going to be for our spring ball. All right, and then what I like to do is for 5 minutes there, with our quarterbacks, all right, they're going to have 5 minutes settle news with the receivers. All right, and then the run at me is going to be there for that. So they get 10 minutes because we're getting all the guys out of the locker room. And if there's not all the coaches there, what we have is our guys, they have their corners and then they have their sections where they can do their drills and do whatever pod work that they need. And that's their warm up, because then as soon as I blow the whistle, send any reminders, boom, we're off to practice, we're good to go. So we would probably blow that whistle at about like 2:58. A lot of those guys would be out of there, good to go. They get warmed up, they're ready to go. And so what it would look for us is it would be your day one run would be right there. And then what happens is I have this schedule, and it would be for us like our Monday through Friday, and our coaches will walk in or I'll have it to wherever they can possibly get it. If they have to get there right when practice is there, I'll have it right in my sheets and I'll have it in their dividers, and they'll have their offensive schedule. This is our offense, not all of it. So our practice schedule, and it'll have exactly what the kids should be doing. It has exactly where each one will be. We'll talk about it. I'll never, even though I'm the head coach, I'll never just straight up change something without talking to people and make sure that makes sense. So if something's not working, we'll change our schedule, whatever. So all of our coaches will have that. There's your periods, there's their time. That's where we know that we're at. So now all of a sudden that streamlines. And then we can change that when it gets into the summer, because then in the summer we get a whole hour. So we'll add a couple more periods of our on the field. Offense gets an hour, so that'll be our 12 periods, and they'll have all this, and then you just copy and paste it because it's nice and organized. Then everything is shared. So now all the coaches have that, but can they give them that physical copy if they don't want to print it? And since I'm at the school and have all the printer and paper I want, print that off. So that's how you streamline into your practice schedule. And what I do to make sure that all the coaches remember, because obviously a lot of them might have day jobs, they're not in the building, they might forget that today's Monday or today's Tuesday. Hey, here's the reminder of what our quick game is, what our drop back, and what our screen is for the day. And then our notes section could be, hey, Billy Bob has to go from playing tight end to O-line because we've had an injury. The notes will be down here, and hey, this is what period they need to be. Or hey, Wildcat, we're working on Wildcat today, so I might need John for the quarterback session of inside run and not at running back. Or maybe he's a receiver, and instead of going to do screen drill with the DBs, he's coming over here and doing quarterback. So just any type of notes, and I'll just fill that in out there, and it'll be all nice printed. Like I said, and they can also have it and share, so everybody's able to see it before we get to practice, and then when they get to practice, they have a physical copy. And what I'll easily do is I can copy all of this and then just send it and put it into then our summer schedule. And so then you see it just added, and it's the same stuff. The difference is now I obviously abbreviated things so that they print on the page, but all the pre-practice drills should be there. And it's one of those things of I'll let the coaches also put this in so that I know when, if I get out there, I'm the first one out there, that hey, I know exactly what the coach wants them to be doing when I get out there, and if we have my defense coordinator are at the school, so we're out there possibly getting organized. We know what those guys should be working on because our coaches have it in the sheet and they can edit it and all that good stuff. So that's how you have your schedule. So now you streamline that, and now this is where it gets great. So then what we do in our call sheet, and then it goes into our wristband. So say that you're using wristbands, which this is how we call it in. What we would do is one of our sections if this was like we were talking about, if this was like inside zone. All right, so then what I would color coordinate this, and inside zone would be, right here. And so this is all of a sudden the plays that we're going to script for practice. All right, maybe it's just those plays that we want. All right, then this could be inside zone with the ISO, and then inside zone split. Here are, the 5, 10, 15 plays of those, because that's our main run. There it is. And then, so now we have our wristband colors matched up with it. Well, now let's say that we are on a Monday. So then what I like to do is we use the same call sheet so everybody knows what the format is always, and everybody knows how it's organized. Well, now when I print it off for practice, or if they print it off, now they know that, hey, here is what we're running. All right, so there's our inside zone stuff. And then say that you're running it with our quarterback. All right, well then let's say boom, and now all of a sudden the highlighted stuff, that's our script. Okay, so when we're in inside run, we need to get through this stuff that's highlighted. All right, so then let's go here, and obviously the colors are a little bit different, but let's say that this is our day one stuff. So this is our smash series. All right, because that's there, and that's the 10 things that we're gonna run. And this is our quick game, and let's say that this is a mix of our stick snag, and let's say that it is just those. So now there is our quick stuff that we're working on. There's our run, and then our drop back could be, so it's silver, could be drop back. And so let's say this is 4 verts. So there's that, and then our screen. If you have your screen, so I know everybody runs screens. So then your screen section's right there. So now everything that's on the wristband is all color coordinated onto your call sheet. And now when you get into our inside run and team, our 7-on-7 and team or screen period, your team, and then there's your quarterback run game. All right, and then if you're somebody that likes to practice different situations. So say on Monday that you're a red zone team. Well, now you go over here and you're working all your red zone. Well, here's how our red zone should match up whenever we go to a red zone period. Now everything is highlighted. And for us, we like to do a tempo drill for the first 5 minutes because we believe that should be able to get us 10 to 12 plays. All right, and so now there's our first 10 all highlighted. And I know, wow, look at all that highlight, but look, this is now for Monday. So then what I would do is come in through here, and this would be Monday. And that means that now everything that we want would be right there on that sheet. So now I don't have to go and re-highlight it. It's highlighted now for all the rest of the Mondays. Well, then you do that for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That section's all highlighted. All right, and then maybe you have a couple third down calls or your inside zone families or whatever, and then you can highlight those. Well, now that's all highlighted and that's all good to go because that should be your bread and butter and you won't have to do it again. But why it's streamlined is now you have your call sheet that's ready for practice. Everything is scripted. So our coaches, what they'll get after the install and then a practice schedule. Practice schedule will be on the front, and then all they have to do is flip it to the back and they'll have our call sheet right there. And they don't even have to worry about the wristband, having wristbands, because it will literally say, so let's just say that you're in, we call our 2x2 spread. So let's just say that we're spread, and we'll say that we'll say that we're running the corner out, and then it'll have, we'll say that means that it's orange 3. So we don't have to worry about that. So it's spread. All right, it's the corner out, but we're calling orange 3 for the players. So that's for the players to know what we're calling out. And that's the first play that we're calling, go 7-on-7 our team when we run smash, and then we're running the corner out. So now now the coaches have it on their sheet, players have it. So now you're ready to go. So now you have that, and this is how it's going to allow you. You should be able to get those 10 plays, and hopefully in easily 5 minutes, if not 2.5 minutes, because you're just lining up and you're going. So now the coaches don't have to have a wristband. So they have their schedule in front of them. Then they flip it over, and there's your script of when we go into our group and our team periods, the highlighted section for that day, all right, is done. And I know that some coaches have taken the call sheet that we've done, and they'll go right into, and they'll just copy and paste all this stuff into one sheet. So then they have the schedule on there, and then they flip it over, and they don't even have to see, outside zone, but it's just not highlighted. And that way it can be even more organized. I mean, that's another way you could add to it even more if you want. But the reason why I keep with the call sheet is just so that when we get on to Thursday and Friday for our JV and varsity, everybody has now looked at the call sheet, and what we'll do is it is a living document. We'll get rid of something if it doesn't work at practice, doesn't look good. All right, we're not going to run it. Or if we didn't get to it because, hey, you know what? This play worked really, really well throughout the practice week, and we already know that that's probably going to be a good chance we'll get that look. Let's work on the stuff that we feel really good about, which we'll rank it, from 1 to 10 if it's one of our main families. And if we don't get to 9 and 10, and we scratch out, 7 and 8, but now we feel good about those 6 play calls, that's pretty good for, a quick game. So that's just one way of having everything organized. Like I said, it'll be shared with all the coaches, and they'll have that, and it's going to be a document that they can edit so that it's organized. You have your practice schedule, you have your install, and this way it organizes you. If you can't fit everything you want to do within the realm of your install, you're probably trying to do too much. And I know that the art of everything is being able to take simple things and make it look complex. All right, it's a lot harder to reverse engineer something complex and keep it simple, because we have to remember that the kids that we have nowadays are not playing Madden to play Madden like we used to. They are on YouTube trying to find all the ways to cheat. So this is for those guys that might have low football IQ, and you're keeping it simple. And just remember that when, especially spring ball, is you're getting back to the basics. So really teach it. Like if you're teaching smash, because that's your day one, hey, that locked hitch on the outside, and you can mirror it, and that's to get a lot of reps, especially when you go routes on errors. Hey, 6 down to 5, and that quarterback, just make sure that as soon as he is out of that release and he's about to turn, the ball should be right there on that inside shoulder to be on the DB, and that's where you can line up and do that. Get back to the basics. Don't worry about being too complex. Don't throw too much at them. At least that's the way I take that from, the air raid of just 1,000 reps at something, 1,000 reps. And that's why we've cut it down of, this is the 3 things that we feel really good about in our run game. And then, we have, like I said, is that day 7 and 8 for us it's a, it's a secondary run based off of our families that we have. So it's one of those to get a little bit more. And I know that some people will even do that. Maybe that's the quarterback run. Maybe that's the day that you're doing a lot of quarterback run and maybe a lot of screens or something like that. That's a way to do it. But this is the way that we do it. So we start off, like I said, with that offensive menu. Fill that out. If you're not able to fill that out, you're doing too much. Figure out what you've ran before and it's worked and what your kids can do. Go through the 3 or 4 days. I'm telling you, and I know a lot of people will do whatever they run on Monday. Maybe they're able to go Monday through Friday. Whatever they run on Monday, they're also then running again on Thursday, and that's how they redo it. I have found that it has not worked that same way. I like to put those days back to back and then go on to something new, because if I'm running something on Monday, and let's say that I get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because we're doing the rules of 3, I want by Wednesday that I'm like, hey, if we went to a spring game against another team, my bread and butter day 1 stuff, I've now been able to go a bunch of different formations. The kids understand how to run out of 2x2, 3x1 with motion, all that good stuff. We can run out empty. We can run out of, unbalanced type stuff. And everybody knows that that's their rules. I'd rather that than, hey, Monday, and then we'll run it again on Friday. Well, by then you've also introduced a bunch of different runs. I know at the end of the day when you're running all that, but I truly believe in having your days organized and getting reps. And that's all the kids are worried about doing that day, because that's going to get a bunch of reps. I've had 3 schools where I've done it and we got really good because of that way. Where I failed when I first started it, I was not doing it that way and wasn't having the results. We do that. We switch up to game 3, boom, killed it. Then when we did down in Northwood, we went back to that same thing, because I made this mistake, but this time it was more of trying to do first down and P and 10 on Mondays, Tuesday doing red zone, Wednesday doing third down. But I realized that the kids weren't getting enough reps at certain aspects, and those certain aspects ended up being our best plays. So we went back to this way, and so I really truly believe in this. But anyways, enough of that. Please let me know if you need any of this. I have this all saved up for, install in an organization as an OC. Even as defense coordinator, you could use this, obviously switch it up, the words and all that, and or as a head coach. If you need any help with an install or schedule, please hit me up. My Twitter will be on the front. It's also in the comments down below. Please hit me up. I'm willing to help out any way that I possibly can. We have spring ball the next 2 weeks, so I'll try to get back as quickly as I can to replying to anybody. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions. Super excited. Like I said, again, spring ball, getting back to football. Comment this, share this. Please just, continue to have good dialogue. It's been nice to get to know a lot of people that hit me up, and I try to send them anything, and this is all for free. Just comment and share to help grow my football family and our football journey all together. But anyways, thanks for all the likes and the shares, and continue to grind when it comes to being a football coach.